All right, guys, what's going on? Happy New Year to everybody, wherever you are in the world. It's January 2nd, 2026. 2025 is behind us. It was a good year, strong year. We're in a new year now. I didn't go live yesterday. I took the day off, family time. But we're back in the swing of things. Wherever you are celebrating, hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you're not hungover. What I always tell people, the best part about not drinking, it's not being hungover. Now, I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you I never drink. I live my life under the philosophy of moderation. So if I want to do something, I'm going to do it. What's up, Gasville, Johnny Moneyline? I'd go method of victory. You know what I would do? I would take a prop bet. I'll probably go for the stoppage. So I don't know what props you're getting on. I'm going for the stoppage. You know what? I'm not training this hard at this stage of the game to go the distance, and it's gonna probably be an away fight. Considering I live in Sydney, I'll be traveling. I can't go to the cards. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have to go for the finish. So let me know what those odds are, and I'll bet on myself. But Gasville, I woke up to that crazy shit in our Discord. Shout out to the Discord, man. You guys are nuts. And I got messages. Yeah, PJ, the promoter, he's been doing his best trolling, and I'm here for it. Look, I don't mind a good troll, but you'll have to be in the Discord if you know what I'm talking about. Guys, that link is pinned right there. It's a new month, it's a new year. If you're in the Discord and you haven't re-upped your subscription, like look at Gasville, he's re-upped his subscription. The way you can tell is if you have that star by your name. Gasville, I appreciate the support, brother. Sometimes depending on your Google settings, it doesn't roll over. It should roll over, but if not, it's pinned in the comment section below. Wherever you are in the world, if you want to join our VIP group, that link is pinned there. We have a Discord. You can also support me on Patreon. King Pound for Pound, what's good? You boys are checking in. Um, let's first talk business. We had fights in Japan. I feel like I took one day off, and I feel like I haven't seen you boys or talked to you boys in forever. So we have to talk about our parlay because we have fights this weekend. Obviously, the MVP card, but I do want to talk about the fights in Japan. For any of the boys who listen, we hit 2 tickets. So we started the weekend. We started the new year off on the right foot, and this is what I'm talking about. Okay, so we hit the 2 tickets. Our method of victory, our prop was Ioka by knockout at $1.80. If whatever your unit is, you got 80% back. 100 would have gotten you your money back plus $80. And then the other play we had was Day Akira by knockout. So we parlayed. Look, I generally don't put the same bet on two separate tickets. I told you guys that. But for the sake of how convinced I was Ioka was going to get that stoppage against Ortiz Jody, that's why I did that. And so Kira by knockout, Kazuda again by knockout. That paid plus 230. So 100 on your money, got your money back plus 230. So we're in a good spot. We also have a long parlay that I started 3 weeks ago that's still live. The long parlay is a 12-legger. We have Nakatani on there. We have Inoue on there. We have Ioka on there. And that's going into this weekend as well. I'm also going to give you my MVP parlay because we have about 12 fights to get into. Guys, I'm trying to find an underdog. I'm trying to find a dog. I look, the livest dog would probably be Stephanie Hahn versus Holm, but I'm not taking her. I think Holm handles Stephanie Hahn convincingly, but that's just my take. And I'm gonna stay live as long as you guys want me to stay live today. We're just getting started. We're gonna get into this. 22 people. When you guys are tapping in, could you like this video and then subscribe and join our Discord? Let me know what time it is. Yeah, salute sent from Pet, my guy. King pound for pound. What's good, boss? I'd back you with my money. Appreciate you. Hey, we're up. We're up, baby. It was entertaining. Guys, let me show you this photo that Gary sent me. So Gary from 3D, PJ's trolling me in multiple Discords, which is fine. Look at this one. This shit's hilarious. PJ's talented. Josephina cute guys. Dude, he put pink lipstick on me. He put a pink wig. I don't look bad for a chick with a wig, do I? But I guess some people have a lot of time on their hands. I think it's all hilarious. I think Yank points, Serrano points. Yeah, okay, so we're going to pull those odds up in a second. I'm going to go bet 365. Guys, wherever you are, if you're in Australia, I suggest you use bet 365 for your boxing and not sports bet. There are a lot of women fights this weekend. I feel the opportunity for a draw is high in one of these fights. That being said, if you use bet 365 and you take a money line bet and it's a draw, you don't lose your ticket. Sports bet, if there's a draw, you lose your ticket. That's why I reference that. If y'all sub through YouTube, it'll auto send from Pet. I've talked with Gary about this. Do you think Amanda Serrano by no knockdowns is a good play? Her last knockout was unanswered punches. I could see that chick going to the road. Mate, let's pull it up, man. I'm always hesitant with taking female knockout props or knockdown props, you know, other than Gabby Fandora. And then the Turkish girl who just came on the scene a couple weeks ago who could crack. So she's on my knockout list now as to play. Forget her name. You guys will let me know her name. She was a dog and she was a plus 240 and won by stoppage. She could crack. So her, Gabby Fundora. The thing with Amanda is, my problem with Amanda's power is that, she's been so good for so long and she's fought in so many weight classes. It's kind of like her style is to win rounds. You know what I mean? She doesn't, her style is aggressive in your grill. We just haven't seen her drop somebody in a while. I saw another one do one. I saw another one do the LGBT bro, flags. That's hilarious. You know why? Sent from Pet. There's there's a handful of people who troll my personal page, and I don't know what it is, man. Like maybe because I don't give them the response that they want. But if you troll me, I don't care. I'm gonna laugh. Like I'm not a. I talked about this all the time on my channel. This is who I am in real life, guys. Like I'm the type of personality. Like I'm not a mean spirited guy. My next comment isn't supposed to sound pretentious, but when I was a young buck growing up, like I'm talking teens, college years, getting into bar fights and street fights, I'm kind of laughing during street fights. Like I'm the type of dude, if we're about to fight, I'm gonna be fucking having fun. So I'm not one of these guys, when I get mad, I see red, or don't piss me off because you're gonna, that's not me, dude. It's not. So if people are clowning me, I'm gonna laugh. Like I'm not gonna take it personal. I know who I am as a man. I think that bothers some people, especially the you know the LGBTQ stuff. There's a troll. His name is James. I think James is in. There's a dude named James Erath. I know his whole name because he's a moron, and he's been trolling me on my YouTube and he's been trolling me on Instagram, and I think he's in Gary's group. Used his real name like an idiot. I know where he lives, and he has a weird thing about making fun of my sexuality. I don't know, maybe because he doesn't like what he looks like in the mirror. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't take care of himself. Who knows? If that's your low blow, I always say send location, and then we could talk about it. Send location, and we could talk about it. Maybe we could live stream it. Don't be surprised if someone makes a channel that that would be hilarious, Pet. Yeah, Will. What's up, Will? Happy New Year, big dog. Elif, you knew exactly. We got that educated chat. Yeah, Elif, she's on my knockdown. Elif now is on my knockdown and probably stoppage list to execute that, along with Gabby Fundora. But there's not a lot of other ladies on that list. Happy New Year to you too. Taking your top knot. Serrano said she's going to for Christy Martin's knockout record. It's a good look. Let's pull this stuff up, man. On that note, let's see what we're getting. Wherever you guys are in the world, is your book giving you props? on these fights. Because right now, I think we're just getting money lines. And on another note, Indiana is belt to ass in Arizona or Alabama at this moment too. College football. So our Discord isn't just boxing. Our Discord, I'm also gonna launch. I told you guys this next Thursday we're launching our weekly MMA live stream. So every Thursday afternoon in Sydney, I'll be doing an MMA live stream with Nick from Breaking Bad Boxing. This weekend, I'm also launching our Stats Don't Lie MMA series. Just like the boxing series we do, Stats Don't Lie, where I do a breakdown, analysis, film study, and prediction. I'm going to be launching an MMA for the UFC fights as well, based off of you guys asking me. All right, so just let's see if we're getting any method of victories real quick. So some of the boys were saying, so Serrano. Let me pull that Serrano fight up to see. Yeah, usually if the book is so wide on the money line, oh shit, good looking out. Take your top knot. I used to have a top knot too. Dude, could you imagine the trolls if my hair used to be down to here? Could you imagine the trolls if I had that top knot still, boy? So Amanda Serrano, Reina Tellez. Look, man, we haven't seen Amanda get a stoppage since the silent film era. Thank you taking your top knot for highlighting this. This gives me a lot more wiggle room to get fancy with our parlays. Because off jump, I have to, I have to look at it, but I don't mind the points. Look, when in doubt with the ladies, I always take points unless it's Gabby. My pick for Amanda by no knockdowns is because she only had one knockout of this weight class or less. This is what I'm talking about. So maybe you take Amanda on points. Amanda on points is plus money, boys. 250. So Amanda on points is plus 150. That's a prop worth playing. That's plus money. Statistically, you're playing in your favor. You know what I'm saying? When's the last time Amanda had a? Let's pull that up too, boys. What was it? 2022? When was her last stoppage? She's an OG in the game too, mate. Was it 2022? I watched too many goddamn fights. 2024. Okay. But that wasn't she won by TKO. What was that on the ropes? Did Steve even go down? Yeah, so that was on the ropes when the ref jumps in, does this whole number. Other than that, you got to go back to 2021. Nope, didn't drop. Even 2021 was a knockout, but no knockdowns. Santana, no knockdowns. Unless they're not listing them. When is the last time she had a knockdown? I don't know. 47-4. Yeah, dude, we're definitely playing Russian roulette, playing knockdown props with women. I think everybody knows that. I actually, I'm not gonna lie. I actually like the points at plus 225 though. Oh, bro. The Buckeyes. Why'd you have to bring that up, man? Why'd you have to bring Ohio State up? So where I come from, Ohio State is like a religion, man. It bums me out. I don't want to talk about the Buckeyes. Let's bring up the boxing odds. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da, 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 da. If the punches don't really hurt the chick and she clinches or stays on the ropes, I don't see her getting knocked down. Also, power youth will play a role. I agree. Dude, I like the points right now at plus money. King pound for pound. I got no Japan fights, no props for MVP yet. The Japan fights were 2 days ago. The only fights I'm getting are the MVP card, which is my Sunday, your Saturday. So right now it's Friday afternoon, my time, your Thursday night. So you still got about 48 hours, King. Stay tuned. Luke, 1 and 9 to 1 accumulator from what you said, like your stream before. Jake Paul, AJ Carr gonna pick. Luke, that's what I'm talking about, brother. And my whole goal with everything that I do, remember, guys, I'm a strength and conditioning coach. I run a private gym out of my house in Sydney. I'm a teacher. I'm an educator. I like teaching. My goal is for people to learn about boxing in a healthy and educated way. When I read messages like Luke right here, he won a 9-to-1 accumulator from what you said in your stream before. Jake Paul, AJ Card, gonna pay for the subscription after you end the stream. That is like, we're not just throwing, for the lack of, awful analogies, or for the lack of a better analogy, we're not just throwing shit at a wall and hoping something sticks. I put as much energy and time you guys put into whatever passion yours is. Maybe you're a tattoo artist, maybe you like gardening, maybe you're a teacher, whatever. I do the same with this. I love this. I've been in the game since I was 7 years old. I'll be 44 in April. Comments like this, mate, I really appreciate it, brother. And you're, joining part of our squad. Once you guys subscribe, I'll send you the link to get into the Discord. It's a VIP Discord. Gabby is a beast. She is a beast. Andy Gonzalez, 658. She's one, like, I think over time, what we're going to see as the skill set evolves within women's boxing, it's going to take a long time. But I think fighters like Gabby Fundora, with her style, with her technical prowess, her fan-friendly sort of, how she operates, I think fighters like Gabby are going to push the women's sport, women's boxing further, quicker. It's going to expedite that learning curve because she's exciting, man. I would pay to see Gabby fight anytime, every time she fights, and she wins us money. You don't see very often a woman, long and then punching down and then trying to finish fights. She needs 2 more knockouts to break the record. I think she goes for it. Okay, so I think we're back to Amanda here. There were 2 knockdowns on the AJ Paul undercard. Well, let's be specific. What are we talking about now? Oh, got you. How did you do in Japan? My book never had them. We hit it in Japan, mate. The Japanese, we hit our prop of the week with Ioka, and then we hit the double tap with Ioka, and I'll play those for you. We didn't have. They only gave us 2 fights, but we hit both. So we're in, and we hit last week. We're doing what we always do. We're at best we're archaeologists. We're sifting through the rubble. We're going on these digs and we're trying to find fossils and bones. We're looking for dinosaurs. That's what we do with our boxing content. It's what we do every week. We're gonna find some victories. We already got 2 victories this week, and those 2 looked just like this. To answer your question, this is what we hit. And I gave this to everybody on the stream. I gave this to, if you follow the live streams, I talked about this all early last week. We took Ioka 80% by knockout, and then we put Ioka and Daya on it at plus 230. So this was the only plays we had. These were the only 2 fights, and we hit. I told you what I do. We're taking these winnings, and we're doubling them down this weekend. So there's a couple good fights to talk about. I think the best fight to make money on, whatever way you're leaning, is either Holly versus Han. But the Amanda Serrano method of victory is very interesting. You guys are talking about the knockout record, the knockout streak. You mix that with her fight style. I just got to do a little bit more homework on her opponent. We got about 48 hours until the fights, and I'll get back to you. I'm doing live. I do lives every day, so you'll know how to get a hold of me. Let's look. We're going to look at what other girl fights. Guys, do you have any questions from any other fights? Because I'm gonna go to Stephanie Hahn and Holm real quick. If you guys don't want to talk about any other fights, January 31st will be a busy day, dude. This month is busy, guys. We did get some kind of downer news with Patty Donovan pulling out of the fight with Liam Paro. That was supposed to go down this month in Australia. I really wanted to see that fight. The odds were great on that fight. I was already doing film study. I had done all of my work except uploaded my stats don't lie video, my prediction on Paro and Donovan, and now that's a moot point. Patty Donovan pulls out of the fight due to an illness. If you go to Liam Paro's Instagram, he doesn't have many good things to say about the pullout. He's pretty salty. It may be too early to talk about this, but on January 31st, from all the main cards, where do you see potential upset? I believe, yeah, bro. I like Kelly versus Bachram. Like right now, I'm siding with Joshua Kelly, and up until we get there, I've talked about the stylistic matchup. I've talked about the pros and cons. I've talked about their strengths. I'm probably one of the rare YouTubers who isn't sold on Bachram Murtazaev. I don't believe Murtazaev is the boogeyman. I have to see more. He looked good against Tim. That was a long time ago. It almost seems like 5 years ago. It was a while ago. I don't know, man. I think Josh Kelly is going to be better than what people think. Josh Kelly's bigger than what people think. He's faster. He's strong. His reflexes. We know what we get with Josh Kelly. I think that people threw him away for the draw against Ray Robinson. Shout out to Ray Robinson. Ray Robinson's fighting Michael Fox. They just announced that fight news. You know where boxing heads when we're talking about Michael Fox versus Ray Robinson. Ray Robinson is a very tough Philly guy. Those in the know how good Ray Robinson is. Joshua Kelly a couple years ago went on a plane for the first time to fight in the U.S. at Madison Square Garden, and he fought a very tough, gritty veteran in Ray to a draw. People, the casuals, thought that was like just as worse as like Mike Tyson getting stopped against Buster Douglas, so they just threw Kelly away. And then when Kelly ran out of gas against Avanesyan, a few fights later, you guys talk shit about Ava. David in his prime is world class. David in his prime, the only fighters who really got one over on him were Boots and Bud. Other than that, Ava in his prime is a really high-level fighter. And Kelly was winning rounds early until he ran out of gas. And it's something that I always talk about at the world level. If you have holes in your game, if you have flaws in your game, whether it's a jab or the lack of an efficient gas tank, the last place you ever want to learn that lesson is on the world stage. You never want to be a fighter at the world level and be sort of quote unquote found out about on the world level in front of everyone. You want to kind of learn those lessons in the gym to where you make adjustments. And unfortunately for Josh, he had to learn that lesson against Avanesyan in front of the whole world. He made adjustments. You know, all the fights after that, you saw a lot. You've seen, you know, even in the Troy Williamson fight, there were he still has that flashy Josh Kelly style, but he was much more defensively sound. You know, hasn't been as active as we wanted him to be. We thought he'd be super active by now at this stage of his career. I think he turned over when in 2016, 2017 he turned over, and I thought he'd be fighting for world titles by now. I've followed his amateur career. I've watched his pro career. I think people were sleeping on Josh Kelly. I do. And I'm not sold on Murtazaev. It's another one of these fights. We're probably going to get Joshua plus money. And I have no problem breaking it down, analyzing, losing money, betting on Josh. It's called gambling for a reason. You know what I mean? I'm betting on the fact that we are going to see the culmination of an entire fighter's potential at his best performance. That's what we're banking on. You know what I'm saying? So if you're like me and you're banking on Josh Kelly, you're banking on the momentum he took from, you know, that first round knockout against Flavio Bea. You're banking on that momentum he took from all the wins he had since the Avanesyan loss. And everything's been put together, and you're going to see this sort of culmination of the guy that everybody thought he was going to be. And that's what I'm banking on. It's going to be fun. It's a great question, sent from Pet. California Demo, what's up, Johnny? First time catching you live. I watch your videos. It randomly popped up on my feed. Got him in. Your takes are seriously valid. Won a couple bets. Yoka knockout. California Demo, man. Appreciate having you here, brother. We are a community. We're growing. We don't always agree. Look, boys, we don't always agree, which is the best part of us. My favorite thing about my channel, my favorite thing about our Discord is there is discourse. This isn't an echo chamber. I'm not going to give you a take, and if somebody doesn't believe it, they're not going to keep their mouth shut because they're worried about getting attacked. No. So, dude, we bring on the boys to debate. So, it's that's by trade. When I was growing, and we're currently growing our channel, my whole goal was to create an open discussion about the best sport in the world. that wasn't an echo chamber. So we don't have to agree on everything. There's a way to disagree, but doing it with facts, research, education, and not doing it mean spirited. And that's what we're doing. We got so many good fights. Teofimo versus Shakur's coming up. Ebony Bridges, that Tim fight feels so long ago. It does. Look up Josh Kelly odds. Let's do it. Yeah, this is kind of what I expected, guys. 3-1. I went 3-1 dog. 100 on him gets you your money back plus 300. Exactly a 3-1 dog. This is everything. This has everything to do with Murtazaev and how he looked against Tim Tszyu. This has everything to do with the casual and sort of, maybe casual is the wrong word, the mainstream boxing media. You go to all these bigger channels. I just hit 27,000 subs. I'm talking the channels with over 100,000 subs. They're going to be talking about Murtazaev like he's the boogeyman. This is why those odds are the way they are. You watch Murtazaev's film study and tape. He has a lot of holes in his game. He moves on straight lines. He gives his opponent both shoulders. I've seen him fade before. I've seen him hurt to the body before. Josh Kelly, man, he's a big. He's like I said, when we're gonna see the weigh-ins. Josh Kelly's gonna be bigger than you guys think. Murtazaev is about. I think he's listed about 6'1". I think Kelly's listed about 6 feet. This fight's at 54 though, so Kelly carries a lot of muscle. He's gonna have to definitely be aware of his style. He's gonna make sure, he better not waste too much against Murtazaev. The last place you want to be in a fight is a guy who's fading mid to late rounds against a puncher like Murtazaev. I think that Kelly's fight IQ, though, and his athleticism and his reflexes and his speed, the jab, I think the jab could this is an exciting fight. And you give me Kelly at 3-1. I love that all day. Realistically, like skill for skill, I think this is a 50-50 fight. This is crazy. Kelly's a 3-1 in my opinion. I understand why, based on everything I just said, because of how many people can even pronounce Murtazaev's name. You know what I'm saying? So the average boxing fan, they're relying on these big major boxing forums to tell you about who these guys are. I'm telling you about who these guys are. This is a 50-50 fight. This is an exciting fight. Let's pull up Murtazaev's box rec. (23-0), 17 knockouts. I'm not, by no means am I saying that he's a bum. This dude's a world champion for a reason. So he's 5'11", 74-inch reach. Only has 104 pro rounds. Not the most active guy. Not a lot of people are, people are going to say he's been getting, people have been ducking him. I disagree. I don't think he's been healthy. The rumor on the street is he hasn't been healthy. He's been trying to get healthy, and you would think after this long out, he's healthy now. I mean, he went life and death with Jack Colque. Watch the Colque fight. I know you guys are going to tell me that was during Ramadan. I get all of it. But what fighter goes into any fight healthy? You know what I'm saying? If you guys are fighters, if you're friends with fighters, or even if you're fans of fighters, the one thing that you know is no fighter goes into any fight 100% healthy. All of these men are carrying something into that ring with them. Jack Colque and Murtazaev went life and death. One of the judges gave it to Colque, the other judge, and then Murtazaev won on the other two. Colque, smaller fighter. This is when you look at the Colque fight tape, and then you watch Tim Tszyu's game plan against Murtazaev. If you're a Tim Tszyu fan or just a boxing fan, and you see the low IQ game plan Zoo went in against Murtazaev, and then you see when he gets dropped early, the lack of a plan B, it just should get you frustrated because you should have seen the Cold K tape. You should have seen what the recipe or the game plan should be. You want to jab with him. You want to not don't get caught clean. Don't get caught cold. Zoo wasn't even sweating when he got caught. He put himself right in the wheelhouse, thinking that he was going to bully Murtazaev. You want to, the backhand is going to fade. Murtazaev, you want to work him to the body. You want to parry that jab. You want to use the ring. You want to make him come to you. Does he like fighting off of his back foot? There's not. I think Kelly does a lot of things well that Murtazaev is going to be questioned about. I think Kelly's speed is going to give Murtazaev issues. I think Kelly's size is going to give Murtazaev issues. Kelly likes to fight in the pocket. Kelly doesn't mind fighting off the back foot. You don't want a guy like Kelly running the entire time. We've seen Kelly have gas tank issues. That's going to be a thing. But let's see the intangibles here. So Murtazaev is 5'11", 74. Kelly's listed at 5'10". So Murtazaev is going to be a little bit taller, a little bit longer. Kelly has the experience, a little more pro rounds. This is a fun fight, man. Plus 300 is wild to me. But I think that's recent, big fight recency bias. Bam is getting crushed. Let's see what that is. I hate both teams. If you're not Ohio State, I freaking hate you. So I don't have a dog in the race. I hate both teams. I hate Indiana and I hate Alabama. I hate every team that's not named Ohio State. 38-3. God damn. These are just money line odds. If Kelly decides to fight smart, he can win this. Tim got dropped multiple times, so even he gets bad, Kelly should be able to win. I think Kelly's, he's going to box. I think he's going to box him. Fingers crossed this fight goes down. You know what I'm saying? Fingers crossed nobody pulls out. Fingers crossed nobody gets hurt. We already got the Liam Paro and Patty Donovan fight this month off. Fingers crossed Shakur and Teofimo are healthy. Come on, guys. These are fights in the box. We need these fights. Coach Bermudez, man, you were killing the game in Sydney, by the way. I just want to let you know. I was sharing your mic drops. Coach Bermudez was with Velasquez. And when he was down here, I was at the fight when he was fighting Zoo. And Coach, were you aware of the Aussie media down here sharing all your sound bites? Sharing all your I was sharing them on my Insta story. But you were just preaching facts, man. The Aussie media, they don't know how to take it when especially if somebody's coming down preaching facts against their golden boy. But it was fun, and you were saying some good. You were standing on business. Coach Bermudez was standing on business. If Teo can make Shakur go first and Teo countering, he's winning that. Hell no. No way. I think Shakur whitewashes Teofimo Lopez. That's sorry. I don't mean to offend anybody here. Teofimo Lopez, great athlete. Great in terms of boxing. Shakur's going to make it look easy. I think Shakur makes it look easy. This would be the biggest upset of the year already. Shakur didn't really take his Olympic last that well, I imagine. Nah, no way. No, I just don't see it. Shakur is the issue with people not really understanding how good Shakur is everything that Shakur does at a world-class level are the small things, the in-between things that make you world-class. You know what I mean? Like the things that are like noticeable to the average eye are things like power, are things like, knockout punching, things like knockout to win rate. Shakur, his foot feints, his speed, his understanding of range and distance, his timing, his countering, his usage of the entire ring, his ability to catch and shoot. Like Shakur's going to make, I think Shakur makes this look easy. I'll probably be fading Josh along with Dalton. Dalton versus Subriel. We got a lot of good fights to talk about, boys. We have a lot of good fights to talk about, boys. When Teo shows up at his best, he can beat anyone. I don't think so. What fight was Teo at his best? I'm a fan of Teofimo Lopez. You guys will always clown with however I pronounce anything. But I'm a fan of him. Great athlete, good boxer. How do you not cheer for a guy who's dedicated his entire life to the game? I love watching fighters like Lopez. You see him when he was a young boy, and you've seen him grow into. He's just figuring life out till he's young. What, 27 years old, 28 at the oldest, maybe. And boxing's the most brutal sport on earth. I just think he's in there with a generational great. Shakur is that dude. From a boxing, it's not called punch out. It's not called street fight. It's called boxing. From a boxing perspective, Shakur is that dude. No, he's not going to get beat. Shakur, that's, I don't ever use the word lock. Shakur's going to make it look easy, though. You know why? Because Shakur, his fight IQ, he's going to download Teofimo's movement patterns. He's going to download Teo's game plan. Teo's going to be dangerous early. Maybe if I were Lopez, I'd be really aggressive early and try to catch Shakur off guard. You obviously got to push Shakur on the back foot. Shakur's speed, I don't know, man. I don't see a path to victory for Teofimo. Sub Johnny, thanks for the ongoing content. After reviewing the confidently on the side of Han on the basis of smoother. Go, brother, get your money. And Han's the dog. So Mike from Melbourne proves a good point. We'll bring up these odds real quick. Mike from Melbourne is keeping us back on track. What's in front of us? We are only as good as our last bet. Right? We are only as good as our last bet. So our last bet we hit in Japan. This fight is in 48 hours. So Mike keeps us on track. We're going to pull up these odds. This is the fight I was telling everybody. If you guys are looking for a dog, Stephanie Han's your dog. In terms of, value for your play. What does Nick from Breaking Bad always say? A money play or a value play? This is it. So what we're looking at are the odds. The money line odds. Han is a plus 180. That's your dog. If you guys are dog hunting this week, that 100% is your dog. That's not my dog, though. I think Holly Holm handles Stephanie Han. I like Holly Holm on points. So my bet on this fight. Oh, yeah. So Holly on points at $1.83. That's probably going to be my bet for this fight. I don't see Holly stopping her. She could, though. This is 10 3-minute rounds. We've seen Stephanie Han get dropped in her last fight. We've seen, once 44, once 35. I could talk about this fight all day. I could do an hour tape right now and talk about Holly Holm versus Han. I've done it all week. If you want to go to look at older live streams, I will say this, though. If you're looking for a dog, follow Mike from Melbourne. In terms of odds, we don't have a lot of good odds this weekend, guys. There's a lot of big favorites. There's a lot of wide margins. But this one, if your dog at Stephanie Han, in terms of value play, that's who I would go with. I'm not betting on her, though. I'm at the way I view the game is I'm trying to win every fight. If I see a dog, I'll tell you, and we do well when I pick the dogs, but you can't, I don't like forcing underdogs. So, one of the first things I do in our Discord at the beginning of the week when I post the schedule is I tell you guys, I'll ask you guys first, does anybody see any dogs? Because that's the first thing I'm looking for. And then as we get closer to fight night, fight weekend, I did it today in the Discord, I'll say, personally, guys, I don't see any. I'm not going to force it. If you guys are looking for a money value play, Stephanie Han is your pick. I like being 100%. I don't see her beating Holm. I don't think she has the inside game. I don't think she has the strength. I think Holly Holm's going to bully her. I think she's too big. I think her pedigree, her class, I think her backhand, I think that southpaw style. And I think the 3-minute rounds are definitely going to favor Holly. Josh Kelly, more active fighter as well. Tim Zoo with respect. Super dumb fight. I think Kelly will look really good early, but if he slows down, 100%, you don't want to be slowing down against against a puncher who's just moving in linear lines. Murtazaev is just going to be like this. Both shoulders, doesn't really go bladed that much. Kelly's going to definitely, I expect Kelly to have a smart game plan. He's fighting much more matured. He's in his early 30s now. This is his chance. Messaged him on Instagram. I said, well, you're finally here. Now what are you going to do? You made it. You know what I'm saying? You wanted this fight. You put your hand up for this fight. How many people put their hand up to fight Murtazaev? This is, I mean, maybe a lot of guys, but not what your favorite boxing content creators are going to tell you. These guys with 100,000 subs, they're going to tell you Murtazaev's the boogeyman. So and so is ducking him. Nobody wants to fight Murtazaev. Disagree. I disagree. I've heard behind the scenes multiple people wanted to fight Murtazaev for that belt. He wasn't healthy. Rumor is he was trying to get healthy. I think Murtazaev is susceptible to the body. I think Kelly, great. You know, when he wants to invest, he's a real good body puncher. Fun fight. I'm excited about that fight. Do you think Tim Tszyu fought a more smart fight that he would have won? I mean, that's really tough to say. Do I think Tim Tszyu is better than the Tim Tszyu who got stopped in under 4 rounds against Murtazaev? 100%. Do I think Tim Tszyu has the fight IQ and is capable of fighting Murtazaev longer than 4 rounds without getting stopped? 100%. Do I think Tim Tszyu needed to learn how to check his ego and needed to be around a camp who would check that ego? 100%. Shout out to Dr. Pedro Diaz. Even though there's a language barrier, you know, one speaks Spanish, one speaks English, you know, I'm pretty sure you could just see the corner work in the Velasquez fight. Pedro Diaz was speaking to him in Spanish. Tszyu was comprehending what he could comprehend. But the most beautiful part about our sport is you don't really need to, you know, you could kind of pick up on once you have a connection with somebody, you don't really have to say words to know what they're saying. You can look at their eyes. And Tim Tszyu is not a dumb guy. He knows what he has to do in there. Sometimes these guys are, we're dealing with high-level alpha dogs here. You know what I'm saying? We're dealing with the top of the food chain. These are fucking fighters, dude. These are the top of the food chain. I'm talking real world level fighters. I'm not talking the guys who are fighting in YouTube fights who say that they're world champions and then they fight and they look like fucking girls fighting. Like, these are fucking alpha dudes like Tim Tszyu. Sometimes these guys need people around them to check them. You know, sometimes these guys are their own worst enemy in terms of they're too tough for their own good. Do I think a smarter fight he would have beat Makram? I think there's a path to victory to beat Bakram Murtazaev. I do. Did he do that? No, and we don't have a time machine. We'll see. If the great question is, will Josh Kelly learn from what Tim Tszyu didn't do? Not learn from what Tim did. You have to look, when you're looking at, when you're fighting a guy like Murtazaev, you watch the tape against Jack Colque. You watch one more fight before that because he did look good the fight before Colque. And then you watch the Tszyu fight. And then you take what you're good at in terms of Josh Kelly, speed, reflexes, body punching, and you create the game plan around what you're good at. So it's going to be exciting to watch. That's always the game within the game. Both have flaws. Don't like her stated aim to knock out Holmes. Feels her best shot is to keep Holmes at distance. She doesn't throw enough, so I hope that statement doesn't result in her waiting on the big shot. Yeah, Mike, good call. Colque's no bum. Colque's no bum. But, I mean, so what are you saying? I mean, Colque 5'7". All I'm saying is this. Oh, Nick just texted me. Was going to hop on if you're open. Yeah. Nick, if you're still on, I'm gonna text you the link. Here's the link. Why I brought Colque up, though, is if we're talking about Bakram Murtazaev as the boogeyman, this big punching boogeyman, I mean, Colque is not a perfect fighter. Shouldn't the big 6-foot boogeyman be able to stop the 5'7" German fighter? Enter studio. Oh, shit. Give me a second. Invite guests. Nick, I'm texting you right here. All right. 100. Out of Matthias versus Smith, Abus versus Xander, Bakram versus Kelly. Wow, dude, look at all these fights we got. I like Xander Zayas to beat Abus. I like Subaru Matthias to beat Dalton. I like Josh Kelly to beat Bakram. We'll see. Andy Gonzalez, Moses versus Franklin. What's up, Andy? It's really tough for me at this stage of the game to bet against Moses Ituama. When we're looking at, you know, I think Jermaine Franklin is going to be that challenger that we want to see Moses tested, right? I'm not going to stand on a hill and be one of these guys to say that he's the next coming of, you know, the greatest heavyweight of all time. I need to see more. Jermaine, this is good movement in terms of a camp. I like this matchup for Moses. I still want to see Moses versus Justice Hooney. If people think that Moses is who he thinks he is, I want to see how Moses deals with Justice. Because I rate Justice Hooney. I know a lot of you guys don't. I rate Justice Hooney as a top 10 heavyweight. I mean, there aren't many heavyweights in the world, at least the top 15 heavyweight. There's not many heavyweights in the world who has the boxing skills Justice has. Yes, he has a tendency to get clipped, but I mean, you're 26 years old, 27, Justice. You're what, 6'4". You fight on your toes. You're winning every second of every round. That knockout loss it haunts me. Could you imagine being Justice? If he doesn't become a world champion, that is going to be a nightmare for the rest of his life. The way he let that fight slip out of his hands against Fabio. Man, I think Abner Figueroa is on upset alert, going to sprinkle Edwin. You think so? I was watching tape. I got to do more. DJ, what makes you think that? What did you see that makes you think that Figueroa is on upset alert? I've had enough. Look, I'm a Teo fan. I just think Shakur is that dude. I think Shakur is that dude. That's all I'm saying. I didn't talk shit about Teo. I didn't say, you know, he's a great athlete. I told you, man. He's one of my favorite. Every time he fights, I watch. I've never missed a Teofimo Lopez fight. After taking the early rounds, I see Kelly getting more hesitant after feeling his power and ultimately getting dropped mid to late from a counter. It could happen. All this stuff is, dude, you guys know your sport. I'm not talking to any casuals here. Guys, if you're new to my channel, or you're new to these live streams, and you see the boys with the stars, they're in our Discord. If you see the boys commenting, they know what they're talking about. What we're doing is this is called rifting. I don't know if one of my good friends is a stand-up comic, and what comics will do backstage or in the green room, comics, drinking beer. I'm talking stand-up comic. They'll riff. They'll go back and forth working on content. They'll do bits. They'll make fun of each other, but they do it in a. This is kind of like what we're doing. Before we're all rifting here. We're picking each other's brains. Nobody is standing here saying they're all end all and be all. I've never once told anybody on this live stream I know everything. I've never once told anyone on this live stream to change their bet. I'm just giving you my perspective. He beat Prime Loma, and most people thought he was going to lose versus Taylor, and he styled on him. I think my favorite Teo fight, yeah, that Josh Taylor performance was great. He looked great. My hesitation with betting on Lopez is the psychological questions we know that we're going to have to answer. But the way he was locked in during fight week against Josh Taylor, and look, I'm not a guy who is going to talk shit about the loser to try to diminish the winner's performance. Teo boxed exceptionally. I thought that performance in terms of what he showed, beautiful boxer. But if you remember fight week, he was so switched on. His dad was trying to interrupt him a lot. Do you guys revisit that fight week? I think it was New York City. His pops was trying to get in the mic, get in, have all the camera. His pops was trying to act like he was the main character. And it was the first fight camp where Teo on camera was kind of had to talk to his dad and pull him to the side and kind of told him to kind of slow down a bit. But like I said, the issue with Teo, though, it's I never feel comfortable betting on a guy when you have to say which Teofimo Lopez is going to show up. Because, like it or not, boys, we have to ask ourselves that question when we're talking about Lopez. Which Teo will show up? I don't like betting on guys like that. This is boxing. This is a blood sport. You don't want to. I don't ever have to say that with Shakur. Happy New Year, Johnny. Much love to you. Much love to you too, King. Let's get this money. Holly Holm UD Yankee money line. Love it. I like Holly. Like the point the bets on the Holly versus Stephanie fight. I like Holly money line. I like Holly UD. I like Holly on points. Yankee Rivera. People are trying to get real dog happy with Boma, but I like Yankee there. And you kind of with that draw in his last fight, you kind of have to throw that out the door. That last opponent, he was headbutting him, he was elbowing him. It was such a bizarre. It wasn't a boxing match. He shot for a double leg. I think Yankee had a sprawl a couple times. So, Coach B with the locks. You two should collab. 100%. I'm open for collabing with anybody. Let's do it. This might be a hot take, but I feel Shakur is untested. I mean, William Zepeda was supposed to be that test. Dude, William Zepeda was supposed to be that test. We saw, how did he handle against? I'm not going to say no. I think that's a fair point. I think that whole, I think it's a fair point. Untested. I mean, how else do we frame that? Who's had more bigger fights? Lopez. I mean, the way Lopez handled Arnold Barboza Jr. Arnold Barboza Jr. He could box. But he's slow. You know what I mean? But I didn't expect Lopez to handle him like that. But you got to see the difference, even at a world level with ABJ, world-class boxer. You got to see the difference when you're in there with another guy who's world-class, but the other guy's more athletic and the other guy's faster. Speed kills. Now, you want great reflexes and you want great timing as well. I don't know, man. Sometimes I question Teofimo's timing. The one thing I will never question with Shakur when we're talking about throwing punches and countering is Shakur's timing. So it could come down to that. And, what Floyd used to call it, you catch your opponent in a web. The minute you have your opponent, especially if we're playing the jab game or we're playing the foot feint game, the minute, however earlier it happens, you catch your opponent's timing and you get them in your web, which Shakur does really well, meaning that, you catch them and then they exit, you count, it's over. Because then they're not going to have they're not going to have a plan B. Once that timing's down, you're done. And we've seen Lopez's psyche. I don't know if Lopez is the style to beat Shakur. Will Shakur retire undefeated? In a weird way, I hope he doesn't. Because if I'm not one of these, and I'm a huge Shakur Stevenson fan. If Shakur ever gets beat, that means that there's somebody out there that we actually got to see fight against him. That means that our sport has evolved. I'd like to see all these guys retire with like 1 loss or 2 losses. Like I want to see guys move up to weight classes, maybe 1 weight class away from where they should be and take too much of a risk, a la Sugar Ray Leonard, and then like lose. You know what I mean? I want to see things like that happen. So will Shakur retire undefeated? I hope not, in a good way, if that makes sense to you guys. I want Shakur, maybe he goes to 47, it's just the weight class too big and he gets caught, that sort of thing. Hey, this is Breaking Bad boxing. Put some respect on Jack Colquet's name.
Man, put some respect on my OG Jack Colquet's name.
Talk to me, boy.
I fuck with Jack Colquet, man. Like he's like almost on that gatekeeper that maybe not on the Sergey level, but he's on that gatekeeper only loses to good guys kind of level. Yeah. You know? So
was Colquet ever a world champion?
Not that I'm aware of. Okay. I could be wrong. This is the one thing is I'm not great with all my championship history. Yeah. And I think that is in part due to how many championships there are.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even me as a boxing fan, it does get a little overwhelming with 4 organizations. And if you count the IBO, technically five organizations, right?
Yeah.
And then every single division. So it can get a little bit overwhelming. Like I have troubles sometimes mixing up my smaller weight classes. Shout out my boy Axel. I know you know the boy Axel.
Axel's a beast.
He posted his 10 fights to make, and he did an honorable mention about Olasquaga Yabuki. And Olasquaga and Yabuki, which is hilarious, both are in my top 10 favorite fighters. And the fact that I didn't know that they were champions in subsequent weight classes blows me away. What a fight. A fight that I wouldn't know that I want to see, but would love to see.
Here's a little tip that, you don't have to listen, but what I've done in the past and what I currently do to keep my memory and my knowledge on point with the current champions is when I do a breakdown video, when I do a Stats Don't Lie video, whatever division we're fighting in, like for instance, you got Murtazaev versus Josh Kelly, they're fighting at 154. In my intro, I talk about, and the current champions in this weight class are. And so over time, when you do 30 videos, 40 videos, it'll kind of keep the knowledge on point.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's and it's funny because even in the chat the other day, I don't know if you saw this, I mixed up Josh Kelly and Dalton Smith. I was like, I think Subaru would beat the shit out of Josh Kelly. And
did the boys come for you?
One of the homies corrected me, but not in like a disrespectful way. I think they knew. I think
Yeah.
they know, man. When you blend so many fighters and so many tapes, like we've talked about it before. Sometimes you'll go through their notebooks and it will blow you away. It will actually blow you away. I'm like, dude, how many
Yeah.
fighters and fights have I taped in general? Big Shadow, what up? Whose egg's getting cracked? The birth of cracking an egg when it came to Felix Alvarado last time. The birth of cracking the egg. I think
Yep,
that's so. I think that's
Ibuki.
so funny because it's one of those terms that I love using in boxing. It's like I think he cracks the egg, but
Ibuki.
yeah,
He's referencing that Ibuki hit. That was a good read, mate.
yeah. I mean, everything else wasn't not so good, to
What
say the least.
to put an exclamation point on the Jack Colque, he was never a champion. I just looked up. He had the WBA interim, but a term that when I hear people use gatekeeper versus journeyman, this guy's a gatekeeper, this guy's a journeyman. I always differentiate the two. A gatekeeper is a guy who either fought for a world title before, been close, lost, and now is used as a measuring stick for guys up and coming to see if they're at the world level. And the journeyman would be a guy who's never even fought for a world title. I know one of the boys in the chat asked about that earlier, but
I would say we're kind of on a similar path of how we would consider both. The only thing is, I don't necessarily think you have to fight for a world title to be considered a gatekeeper. I think you just have to be a true measuring stick, not one of those guys that come in, has lost 39 fights and only is just in there to survive, quite frankly here, but one of those guys that really puts up tough tests. And I think for a while, your boy Coolwell was a pretty good measuring stick. Maybe not like a world level gatekeeper, but there are gatekeepers at different levels, right? Into the rankings, a gatekeeper that keeps you into the rankings, and then there are gatekeepers that put you into the championship. I know this is MMA talk, but I state to this day, the greatest gatekeeper of all time is Derek Brunson. Derek Brunson is, name a better gatekeeper in sport of boxing or MMA than Derek Brunson. Maybe Derevyanchenko, Sergey, our boy Sergey.
I'd say Brad Tavares.
Brad Tavares? Brad Tavares?
Gatekeeper, because Derek Brunson fought for a world title. Derek Brunson fought for a title before.
When did Derek Brunson fight for a title?
Dude, Brunson, you're sleeping on Brunson.
No, I'm not sleeping on Brunson. Trust me. I'm a Derek Brunson fan. Brad Tavares. All right, let's go through this really quickly here.
I think Tavares would be a gatekeeper.
Tavares' losses compared to Derek Brunson's losses. Derek Brunson only lost to Jared Cannonier, title contender.
That's what I'm saying.
Listen, let me finish this out real quick.
Yeah.
Let me just compare 2 and 2. Derek Brunson has only lost to Drake Duplessis, champion. Jared Cannonier, title contender. Israel Adesanya, one of the greatest of all time. Souza, title contender. Anderson Silva, one of the greatest of all time. Robert Whitaker, champion. Yoel
You're
Romero,
making my
champion.
point. You're making my
said
point.
Brad Tavares.
Brad
Tavares is a better gatekeeper than Derek Brunson. No chance.
Okay, a gatekeeper is not a good thing. What I'm saying is I would put Derek Brunson as a perennial title contender. I would put Tavares as a gatekeeper. Tavares is a gatekeeper to like up and coming contenders. Brunson was a guy who was fighting against world champions. So that's what I meant.
So that's what I'm saying though. So like this is the thing. He never fought for a title.
Are you sure?
Derek Brunson, I'm positive. If I'm wrong, I'll send you $20. If I'm wrong, I will send you $20.
No way.
I swear to God. I swear. And this is in the UFC. We're not talking about like a smaller, rough and tough organization. I don't know those organizations. But if I'm wrong, everyone here to witness, I will send you $20. I swear.
No, I don't want $20. I don't want $20.
You know I'm a gambler, so I have to put something on the line mentally. I'm like, nah, I need something on the line.
But to make my point, I would put Brunson above Tavares in terms. Obviously, he's had the better career. Tavares still going strong though. It's always like you remember the when he was still fighting out of Pasadena, California, Shabazian. When Shabazian was like 22 years old,
dude. When Edmund Shabazian was coming up, he was a monster.
Brunson belt to ass big brothered him.
He ran into a buzzsaw, dude. We learned that Edmund Shabazian, if you mount him, he's toast.
Like Neil Magny. I put Neil Magny kind of similar. Like this dude just beats prospects all the time.
One sec. So Lex, I want to kind of jump through these comments here because
go through them.
I went through a whole rant right there.
Are you able to highlight them or no?
No, I'm not. I'm just was going to read down from sent from Pat, starting off with Keyshawn and Shakur. If both Keyshawn and Shakur loses, it will be huge chaos, like someone died, because the fan bases and debates that are going on for around 5 years have been nothing but chaos. I agree there. I mean, they have Shakur has a hell of a fan base, and I don't know if that's good or if that's negative, but he does. I think Sabeda got more power than Tio at 140. Sent by Pat, I disagree with that heavily, just because Sabeda's a death by 1,000 cuts kind of puncher. But Tio's not a huge puncher at 140. That's a fact. His power never really carried. His power really never even carried too much up to 135 in the same way. So I don't even think I've ever seen Tio buzz someone at 140. Neil Magny, the king of gatekeepers. See, now we're talking Kiza. Now we're talking the king of gatekeepers. Now we got to compare these. These are the things that we have to compare right here, bro. Because like Neil Magny, here's the thing about Derek Brunson. I always say, what is a gatekeeper? Let's listen really quickly before I get to the rest of the comments. I'm going to rant for a minute. Do you mind, Johnny? Do you have to go?
No, dude. Let's fucking dance, baby.
Dog. A gatekeeper. What is a gatekeeper? Not talking sports, not talking anything. He holds the gate. He holds the gate. He is at the gate. He is stopping the gate. What is the gate? The championship belt in this case. Let's look at who, as I already listed, who is Derek Brunson let into the gate? Literally, only title contenders and only championship holders, and Ronaldo Souza, who I think at least fought for a Strikeforce title. So it still counts for something. Jacare,
legend, though.
That's what I'm saying. That's the only person that didn't fight for a UFC title that he let through the gate. The only person, and he lost to him twice. So that's something to note. Look at who he held out of the gate to make sure you are not actually worthy. He held out Darren Till. He held out Kevin Holland. He held out Edmund Shabazian. He held out, rest in peace, Elias Theodoro. He held out Ian Heinisch. He held out Daniel Kelly. He held out Uriah Hall, who was always fraudulent. He is the best gatekeeper any combat sport, bar none. Bring me a better gatekeeper than Neil Magny, motherfuckers. I'm ready to debate this any day. He held that gate with his sheath behind the sword, behind the guard, was ready for it. Love y'all. Neil Magny.
Neil Magny.
So a lot. It seems like Big Shadow likes Neil Magny. Kiza likes Neil Magny. Except for
Pat, I'm a Neil Magny guy.
Colby Covington. Colby Covington entered the gate. He fought for that title. He entered the gate, in my personal opinion. Johnny Walker, too chinny. Johnny Walker didn't hold the fort down. I guess Neil Magny's the best argument, right? I'm sorry, y'all. I got to put on my hoodie. My hair is pissing me off.
Damn, Covington was an interim champ. Forgot about that.
All right, sorry about that. And sorry about the rant I just went on there, but
no way, dude. What is a gate? Dude, it's an important conversation to have, man. You know what I mean?
And I know this is MMA talk in a boxing channel, but guys,
the boys,
it's the same exact concept too as well for boxing. He holds the gate. No one has held the gate. I got to see Neil Magny's now. Now I'm genuinely curious to see.
Da, 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 da. All right, so he's coming off a loss against Amosov. Jake Matthews, Zaleski, Mike Mallet, Phil Rowe. He beat D-Rod.
God, those losses are so good. Protes, Morales, Ian Gary, Gilbert Burns.
Dude, the Jeff Neal victory. He beat Robbie Lawler. Say it ain't so.
This is where he loses me here. This is where he loses me compared to Brunson. He almost beat Brunson, but then you see losses to Chiesa, and then you see losses to Santiago Ponzinibbio. Even though that was Santiago Ponzinibbio in Argentina, that was a monster before his blood infection.
You can't, before the injury, you can't, dude. Chiesa's a nightmare to deal with that one-dimensional grappling style. Dude, he has a win over Condit and Lawler. Get out of here.
I'm not gonna lie, chat. You guys
and Johnny Hendricks.
You guys may have gotten me with Neil Magny. You guys may have gotten me with the Neil Magny debate over Derek Brunson.
I brought this up. Magny was my shout.
Oh,
this is cool, bro. Kevin Gastelum. He has a win over Tiger Silva. Do you remember Tiger Silva?
Tiger Silva.
Eric
Silva. Eric Silva. I didn't know that was his nickname, bro.
Yeah.
What? Dude, who did he go to war with? Was it
Matt Brown? Matt Brown. One of my favorite fights. One of my all-time favorite fights at 170 pounds, Matt Brown versus Tiger Silva. Fucking war, dude. Watch that fight to get stoked.
Dude, look at the comment section's popping right now for this
Where we
gatekeeper
at?
debate. Y'all are the shit, bro. This
Do
is
you want to
hilarious.
do? Kevin Holland is no gatekeeper. See, we got an educated ass chat. Kevin Holland, not prime.
I will say, I think Neil Magny does have a little bit of a better standing because he may have better resume of who he stopped from coming through the gate as well. Wins over
Robbie
Mallet
Lawler,
are huge. Even though that Jake Matthew win is fraudulent as shit, we can all agree here that Jake Matthew win is absolutely fraudulent.
The history books,
quick, the boss
the history
Christos,
books.
I see you saying Robert Whitaker's up there for sure. The only reason you cannot consider Robert Whitaker a gatekeeper is he's been a champion.
He's been a world champion.
If you haven't watched his wars versus Yoel Romero,
dude, Rob Whitaker is.
Can I tell you something, Johnny?
Yo,
last night I fell asleep to Dalton Smith and Subriel Matias tape because I want to have my that video drop for the Patreon Boys Friday and on my YouTube by Sunday.
Next Friday.
No. I'm gonna have it for my Patreon Boys tomorrow, and then I'll have it for YouTube on Sunday. That's kind of how I've been doing it, dropping videos on Patreon a little bit early and then dropping them on YouTube after.
Nice.
I just dropped my Yankel Rivera breakdown.
Yep.
I was watching Subriel Matias, Dalton Smith before bed, right? Just getting some notes. And it made me turn on Tony Ferguson versus RDA. Because Subriel Matias, if he is not the Tony Ferguson of boxing, I don't know who is. Unconventional, does shit that should not work whatsoever. So kind of not as defensively irresponsible as I think as some people give him credit for, because he has a little bit of pairing and hand fighting to him, a little bit of we actually saw it with Sebastian Reyes actually last week that I brought up. He's actually pretty good with hand fighting, taking some steams off shots. I think Subriel is actually pretty good with that. But damn, he is so unconventional. It literally reminded me of a boxing version of Tony Ferguson. A bunch of stuff that absolutely should not work. And it made me go turn on Tony Ferguson versus RDA. And tonight, I'm no doubt watching Tony Ferguson versus Kevin Lee, because that run that Tony Ferguson had.
15 fights in a row.
Dude, who he did it to, he buzzsawed through Edson Barboza. RDA.
Forget about it, dude. El Kukui. Dude, El Kukui is that dude,
Cerrone,
man.
Just buzzsaw through that Barboza fight. Kiza, my dog. Bro, Kiza, that's how you're my boy. Because Tony is my favorite MMA fighter of all time. Crazy human. I separate the art from the artist here. What a scrapper, bro.
You don't have to apologize for Ferguson, baby. Tony Ferguson to go. If it wasn't for that goddamn extension cord against Khabib Nurmagomedov at the fucking press conference, we would have got to see a prime Tony versus prime Khabib.
That's the biggest thing, is a prime Tony.
Freaking insane.
I still stand that a prime Tony would have still given Khabib issues. He may have laid on his back, but he would have cut him open. And that gas tank. People don't understand.
El Kukui was that dude, man.
People don't understand how a weaponized gas tank. I don't think that, bro, a weaponized gas tank makes everything. That's why Tony Walker, bringing back to boxing, was the perfect underdog a few weeks back. He has an unbeatable engine. If you have a better engine than your opponent.
Yeah, it's always been that. I tell my clients this, whether they're bankers and I'm teaching in the box. I tell, like, my young bucks this: weaponize your cardio. Because you might not be the biggest puncher, you might not be the fastest, you might not be the biggest, but the one thing you can't control is that fucking output and how much effort you put in until you perform. When you learn to weaponize the cardio, boy, you're in a comfortable spot in a fight. So yeah, those have always been my favorite fighters. This guy, though, did it in such an unconventional way. Ferguson, dude, he would throw, like, what was the fight? I'm gonna bring up the resume. He's throwing the fucking.
There's the fight, that crazy fight that he had against Lando Venata, where he had to Granby roll out of some shit. Literally. So look at this run. Look at that run. Josh Thompson. And if you guys don't know, Josh Thompson, boy.
Pretty boy. Josh Thompson was that motherfucker. Josh Thompson's the only guy to stop. At one time, he was the first guy to stop Nate Diaz.
Nate Diaz, head kick.
Yeah.
Bro, Danny Castillo, who is now the head wrestling coach. And who's the head wrestling coach at motherfucking Team Alpha Male.
Yep.
Dude, Gleason Tebow, who people still argue to this day, beat Khabib.
Khabib.
I don't think he did, but
close fight. Eve Edwards, Hall of Famer.
Eve Edwards.
Yep.
Lando Venata, granted on short notice, a 145er, but in an absolute dogfight war, goes on to fucking run through. Absolutely run through Josh Thompson. Josh Thompson, if you watch his Wang In podcast, will tell you that's the reason he quit fighting was that fight right there. He realized he didn't have it anymore.
Yep.
Edson Barbosa.
The dart stroke was insane.
Dude, after buzzsawing through Edson Barbosa, if I may say, too, as well. Lando Venata, RDA, that Kevin Lee war, where Kevin Lee eventually mounted him, and then he got out of it.
Lee was never the same.
Anthony Pettis.
Pettis. That was a war that could have ended either way. Pettis is a goddamn dog too. People forget. Like
that's one of the best 2-round fights you'll ever see in your life.
100%. And I think people kind of, when you have a guy like Anthony Pettis who like optically looks the way he looks, the casual will kind of forget that this dude's a fucking alpha dog. You know what I'm saying? Like Anthony Pettis wasn't just a striker. That motherfucker was going life and death in there.
Dude, Anthony Pettis has great jiu-jitsu.
But you know what I mean?
Great grappling and ground game.
When you think about his highlight reel though, the Benson Henderson kick.
Like he's a pretty boy almost.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People don't realize that Anthony Pettis, Showtime is a dog, dude.
Bro, Showtime's a fighter.
You get locked in the octagon with that guy, you were going life and death. That Tony Ferguson fight, perfect example of that. Donald Cerrone, the cut. Dude, the resume is crazy. And then
when Donald Cerrone blew his nose out, bro. You know what's so crazy? As every Tony Ferguson fight, I can vividly remember exactly where I was. Justin Gaethje fight, dude, he cut weight twice in the matter of like 11 days, like an idiot or whatever he was.
Yep.
Like whatever it was, he decided to cut that weight. And honestly, bro, he was catching the hottest Gaethje ever. People don't remember. That was Gaethje coming off huge first-round knockouts over James Vick.
Michael Johnson.
He melted Cerrone. And who did he melt between Cerrone and Vick?
Michael Johnson. Well, his first fight was against Michael Johnson when he did the reverse. His first fight from the PFL.
After he went life and death with Michael Johnson. Went to war.
Dude.
Seth from Pat just brought him up. Michael Johnson was low-key a gatekeeper, always manages to win against guys he's not supposed to.
I could call myself a friend of Michael Johnson. I first interviewed Michael Johnson in 2015 when he was with when their first camp was called the Black Zillions. Him, Abel Trujillo, Kamar Usman was down there.
I butt tended on Michael Johnson a few times here down when I used to work in dispensaries years ago.
Yeah, Michael Johnson, you bring up old YouTube sparring wars. That guy's a dog, dude. He's still fighting. But
it's gonna bother me. Can you click Justin Gaethje? Who is the fight between Cerrone? Oh, it was Edson Barbosa he flatlined, right? Who was it between Vick and Cerrone that he flatlined?
Are you talking Ferguson?
Gaethje. No.
Oh, Gaethje.
He's thank you. I'm sorry. It's just bothering me. It's after it was Edson Barbosa. Okay, he flatlined Edson Barbosa. That
with the right hook.
Dude, that run.
Yeah, crazy
brother.
This is even look at that. Even those losses. Even the Eddie Alvarez loss. Dude, people forget about the underground king, Eddie Alvarez. Come on,
the best fight you'll ever see between Eddie Alvarez and the violence triangle between Eddie Alvarez, Dustin Poirier, and Justin Gaethje.
I mean, you
technically it's the violent square when you added Michael Chandler.
You got to throw Chandler, and that was gonna wait. I was waiting. I was like, come on, throw Chandler in there.
The violent square,
bro, dude. Oh,
geez. Michael Chandler. It's insane, dude.
100.
It's
Chandler,
insane.
another big. Chandler
was bro.
He was a champion.
Put respect on Bellator's name, champ.
Yeah.
Bellator at one point was world class.
Yeah.
And nah, brother, we can't call it Chandler. Chandler came into the UFC past his prime.
Yep.
Ready just to have he's been saying it. I'm here for a good time, a long time. He is the worst fight IQ fighter you've ever seen in your life.
By choice.
By choice.
By choice, though, mate. He says,
All-American Wrestling? Fuck that.
Yeah, by choice. One of my favorite interviews of all time was Gaethje after the Michael Johnson fight, his first fight in the UFC. He's getting interviewed, and he tells him straight up, he's like, I'm 17-0. I ain't never been knocked out, but it's coming. I'm going to get knocked out. And whenever I meet him, I'll say thank you. He was like, fuck the fight IQ. I'm here for wars.
Arizona boy, baby.
Dude, people don't realize he's Spanish.
He's from a rough town, man. Like
he's a Mexican kid. Isn't he half Mexican? People don't realize that.
Half white. He's from Safford, Arizona, bro. So it's like a four-corner peak of like I don't want to sound disrespectful.
Crystal meth and shit, right?
Yeah. So I was gonna say trailer trash, real trailer trash.
Yeah. We'll
real
just say
like
meth.
of
Breaking
back in
Bad
the day,
type
like
shit.
a lot of people, like you need like buried bodies. They would go to Globe and Safford. Like that's where a lot of bodies would get found. Is out
Jesus.
there. Like rough. He comes from a small but rough place.
Is
in
he from
Arizona.
Chandler? Gilbert.
Fuck. Who? Gaethje?
Gaethje. Is he
He's from
Chandler?
Stafford, brother.
Stafford,
Yeah,
Arizona.
he's from
Okay.
like Globe, Safford, like that little rough square of Arizona.
Okay. Hey,
Hell nah.
I already told the boys in the Discord, and I have you on now. Next Thursday, we're starting our weekly MMA
MMA.
live stream.
Yep.
Yep.
So I
So
guess we can talk about some boxing since we chopped it up about MMA for like 20 minutes. That was
I mean,
hilarious.
not a big. I mean, we let the chat say. I mean, not the biggest boxing weekend, man. We had
I mean,
Japan.
I dropped both my breakdowns if you guys want to listen to it, but I can give my quick predictions if you want me to. If
Go
not,
give me Han versus Holm. Go.
I mean, just simply put, man, you have someone like, and I had someone in my Patreon ask me that actually brought up kind of a good point. He asked me if he thought this open stance would possibly clog the jab for Stephanie Han, which I don't necessarily think it will, because Holly Holm kind of likes to play that push-pull game a little bit, to where she'll come in kind of in sloppy entrances, and then she'll either angle off or she'll engage and smother. So she'll smother with a clinch and then disengage from that clinch, or she'll come in with sloppy entrances early in fights. At least we saw against Yolanda Vega, and slowly build into them. She'll come in with sloppy entrances and then either angle off or smother and disengage, kind of what she does. And then you have Stephanie Han, who I think gets stuck on the back foot. I think she was a little bit uptight in her last fight, to say the least. Like she was a little bit unsure of herself, but she stuck to a good game plan even after getting dropped. She does have a good jab. I think she has a good uppercut, where Holly Holm has a bad habit of stepping inside of the jab, to where I think that rear uppercut's going to be playing in line with the open stance too as well. The one thing that I'm questioning for both, I'm not questioning Holly Holm's cardio. Her cardio and conditioning, I went and watched her last freestyle wrestling match. Did you watch that?
I didn't see the wrestling match.
Brother.
When we're watching Holly Holm wrestling, boy, you know we're doing film study out here.
This is what I'm saying, bro. Like, bro, I got clips of it on my phone. Like,
you know we're out here doing film study, boy. What y'all thought?
And so let me tell you, before anyone says it's boxing to wrestling, let me tell you guys as a grappler how this does translate and why this does translate. Holly Holm went 3 hard 2-minute grappling wrestling rounds, looking strong in clinch positions, getting hip toss, in the second period, and rolling through and landing through on top. And she also caught a sick-ass cow catcher in the first round. And this is against a multiple-time Mexican Olympian champion.
Was this that ROF league?
RAF, the RAF freestyle wrestling.
Yeah.
So with this, her conditioning, go watch this, Johnny. It's 6 minutes.
I will. You're getting me stoked. I'm definitely going
to. Her hips look strong. Her explosion looks good. She's rolling through strong.
I mean, she's lifelong Jackson Wink. She's been down there in Albuquerque her whole life. Never been out of shape. Her MVP Uncut series, she says, she's like, I don't like to overtrain. I'll start a hard training camp 6 weeks out. I'm going to have no issue with her fighting 3-minute rounds for 10 minutes. We've seen her fight 5x5s multiple times in MMA. Yep.
These are all things that I have personally 0 issues with. Now,
just
looking at the
X's, put a bow on it. Put a bow on. I want to hear it because I want to hear where your take is.
So after we go through all of these things here too as well, is I question how Stephanie Han gets it done. This is one of those fights where I understand the number, the value, the undefeated record, but Stephanie Han got dropped by a really weird, choppy, sloppy 1-2 down the pipe. I feel like she doesn't have great entrances. She does best when opponents enter flat and when opponents don't enter with combinations. She looks good when she puts her combinations together, but she rarely puts her combinations together. So just quite frankly here, I just think Holly Holm's going to get it done by unanimous decision. I think it's going to be one of those 97, 93 kind of scorecards over 10 rounds. And I just think Holly Holm's going to wash her out. I think there may be some interesting moments where Han catches her with a rear uppercut while she's entering on the inside, or maybe Han catches her and when they're in a linear position and maybe starts letting off her own combinations. I think a sneaky fun play that you could play too as well is the fight not to go the distance. I think how do I see it going? I see Holly Holm winning by a point decision. I think it's good standalone bet. I think Holly Holm is a great parlay piece. I think you can sprinkle on a fuck it parlay because I'll be doing a small little fuck it parlay. You could sprinkle a little fuck it parlay on this fight, not to go the distance because the odds on that are absolutely crazy. But in the end of the day, I think Stephanie Han's good. I think she's disciplined. I just don't think she shows enough to beat Holly Holm. I think Holly Holm is sturdy. I think her cardio is good. I think she builds fight over fight. And I think now, too, as well, as after she got that ring rust off for the first 5 rounds versus Vegas, she looked great in the last 6 rounds. So all roads to me lead Holly Holm, unanimous decision.
I agree. I like the fact that she stays in shape. I like her size. She's going to be a little bit bigger. I like her pedigree. People forget this woman went to the UFC in 13, already a boxing Hall of Famer. This is crazy, right? So it's not like she had 13 people like, how's she going to deal 13 years out of boxing? I'm like, this is a lifelong striker. She's never been out of shape. She basically lives it at the gym.
And she's not even 13 years out of boxing now. She had a full 10 rounds under her belt now against Yolanda Vega.
But that's the rhetoric anti-Holly Holm bettors are saying in this fight week, which is fine. Look, I'm not trying to talk anyone out of their pick. I love Holly on points at 88% return back, $1.88 on this book. I think you could find it a little bit better on some other books because this book you lose 13-1 on that draw. But I love Holly on points. There was one other thing. I like her backhand, her timing. I like her I don't know if you said this, her balance. When she's punching, her feet, she's never really, when she's throwing with intent and accurate. Han didn't look comfortable to me. I don't know if Han is Han a lifelong. I know she had an amateur career, but like, does she seems like the type that
she's not a full-time boxer. She
seems a bit green to me in the pocket. She looks antsy sometimes, and I think Holly's going to pick up on that. These are things that veterans pick up on, the small in-between things. Like, oh, shit, she's uncomfortable here. I'm going to lean in on that. You know what I'm saying? She's going to see these things. And how do I bet against Holly Holm?
I couldn't agree more. You can't really bet against her in this sense. And one thing, too, as well, Han is a part-time boxer in the end of the day. She's a full-time police officer, and she's a part-time boxer. And I know she's a world champion. One thing Holly Holm is not is a part-time fighter. No. Holly Holm does not have another job. Holly Holm is in the gym every day handling the business.
With the six-pack.
These are all the things I take in consideration, and it's honestly hard for me to bet against Holm in this case.
Same.
And ultimately, I know they're both signed by MVP, but who would MVP rather see fight Elif Nurturan?
And this is another thing. I'm glad you brought that point up. It was almost like this isn't a 44-year-old woman trying to have one last fight. This is a 44-year-old proud combat sports legend who sees new money coming into the sport, Jake Paul and MVP. And she sees it. This is an opportunity. You should expect to see the best version of her. I don't expect to see anything less other than maybe some skills fading a bit because she is 44.
One final thing too, as well, I just want to say is who is commentating on Stephanie Hahn's last fight? Holly.
Yeah, Holly was sitting in the
literally rings. You're telling me Holly isn't sitting there downloading data right then and there?
She came in. I'm pretty sure they did a face-off.
Like, stop it. Like, she's sitting there downloading data the whole time. No disrespect is Stephanie Hahn's trainer, but I do not believe Coach Jackie is up to the same level as Jackson's gym.
Not many gyms are. Not many gyms are. You know, we're talking about one of the premier over the last 2 decades MMA gyms. Do they coach at a gym like Jackson Week? They're not going to coach just boxing there, are they?
I don't think so. But the one thing is when I saw the MVP Uncut is that she does her boxing and sparring rounds with an actual boxing coach. She spars 2 days a week and does mitts 3 days a week.
I think Austin isn't she like Austin Trout's gym down in Albuquerque?
Is that what it is? Is Austin? Yeah, I didn't know that was Austin. I didn't know what gym it was, but
I don't know if he owns
she's been with the boxing coach that she's been with since a hot minute. And I should have looked a little bit deeper into that one, actually.
Yeah, Austin's an Albuquerque guy. I'm not saying he owns the gym. I'm pretty sure it's where he trains too. Because I first interviewed Austin in 2016, and he was saying that he was doing his boxing. There's a lot of crossover with some of the strikers at Jackson Week at the time with Austin Trout. I know he's cool with all those boys and girls. Are you seeing any upsets on this card, man? People want to get sexy with the Bomba fight against Yankee, considering what we saw Yankee's last fight. Did you tape that?
Yeah, I just dropped my breakdown like an hour ago on my YouTube. Or maybe
go to Breaking Bad Boxing, people. Go follow Nick at Breaking Bad. What are we bullshitting for? Why is we bullshitting?
Nah, it's I mean, I'll just give a quick. I mean, if y'all want to listen to it and support, please feel free to. I would love that. I would love a little a like and a comment if you could. Not a big deal if not. A lot of people like Yankiel by decision, and some people are on the Bomba side. I'm on opposite ends of all of that. I actually think Yankiel is going to get it done. So there's a few different factors that I want to factor into this here too, as well as Bomba Gonzalez is a quitter to me. After watching his last fight against Olasquaga, the head clash wasn't that serious. He wasn't bleeding from the tape that I watched. Maybe people had other tape because I was watching tape from someone that filmed it in a crowd, but it was really good tape. I felt like he was already having issues with Olasquaga's athleticism and Olasquaga's punching to the body. And the second thing is when they re-clinched up, there wasn't even a head clash or anything that touched his head again. He just kept he signaled to the ref to quit. So it was originally a no contest, and they overturned it to a knockout Japanese commission.
Yep.
Let's take that loss off his record. Let's consider it a no contest for our sake. And let's go break down his last 3 losses, his other 3 losses, which, yes, I understand 2 of them were over 10 years ago, but there's a reason I did this. Yankiel Rivera is a southpaw, and he is just so we know, Bomba Gonzalez is moving up in weight class. His only round that we've seen at this weight class was that one round against Olasquaga where he was getting bullied back, pushed back, and he already had issues with the athleticism of Olasquaga in those 2 minutes that we saw. You see his knockout loss versus Jober Alvarez, the southpaw Pinoy. Blinded by the right hand. He couldn't see the right hand coming to save his life. And he got caught with a 1-2-1-2 turned. And as he was stiff, damn near out on his feet, got caught with another 1-2-1-2 and put flat on his back. He lost against Giovanni Segura in Mexico, another southpaw, who does square up kind of a bit, but caught him with, dude, Johnny. I don't know if you watched the Giovanni Segura fight. And
I did not see the Giovanni Segura fight. Man.
You can go just watch quick highlights if you need. He got dropped 3 times bad. And and should have been 4 times because the ropes kept him up a 4th time. And long sweeping right hands, getting broken off the pocket in exchanges and just punished, absolutely punished. And then his knockout, who is an orthodox fighter, in Tanaka. Tanaka just beat the shit out of his body, absolutely ramrodded his body and beat him down within 5 rounds. All of these.
And that was at flyweight. That was at flyweight.
All of these fights are at the smaller weight class below, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or is that the one that is at flyweight?
Well, that
Tanaka is a flyweight too as well. So this is back up at that weight class.
Yeah.
So everyone's on Yankiel Rivera points, and I understand. But if you go and watch even the Andy Dominguez fight, where he hurt Andy Dominguez to the body, a little bit more pop. Yankiel Rivera, I think, is going to want a little bit more get back after that horrendous performance, after kind of getting done dirty, in my opinion. You can't give Angelino Cordova any rounds besides 1, 5, and 9 through 12. None. And he had 2 rounds that he lost 10-8. How did Angelino Cordova get a draw? By rabbit punching his way to a draw? Anyone that said that fight was a robbery, I don't want to hear your opinion on boxing. I'm just going to say that outright. So,
dude, he was headbutting, he was elbowing, he went for a double leg. It was so weird. It was a
grappling match. It was a head clash grappling match. That's what it was at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yep.
All of these roads here, and I stand that on my last year's channel, my worst prediction to this day was Yankiel by knockout over Cordova.
Now you weren't the only one, though. You weren't the only one, though. A lot of people were saying
I got my prop that a knockdown happened, thankfully, but I didn't get my knockout.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the same exact prediction here. Yankiel's does the win over Rene Santiago mean anything? Go watch that win over Rene Santiago, and you tell me if you think Bomba Gonzalez actually won that fight. If you think Bomba Gonzalez won that fight, you let me know. Because I watched that fight twice, when I taped Rene a few weeks ago and when I taped Bomba this time. Both times I came away either it was a draw or it was, quite frankly, it was Bomba losing that fight. So
let's look at the scorecards there. So, So you have, I didn't mean to cut you off. So you were talking about it. These are the scorecards of the fight. You're Rene versus Gonzalez, Bomba. And the judges gave it to Bomba.
I personally didn't think, I don't think either fighter looked great. It was very much a clinch fest too as well. But, I mean, it had moments of like sloppy exchanges. Bro, Jonathan Gonzalez has a horrible habit of literally walking himself from the center of the ring in a straight line all the way back to a neutral corner and just staying there. It's very strange. It's
his reset. You know, some guys will reset on their toes. It's a tell. Some guy, you know, I noticed it becomes pattern. It's a habit of him. Are you? Yep. Go on.
So I'm sorry. I just want to round about my point here. So everything that I'm saying here leads me to Yankiel by knockout. And why do I think Yankiel by knockout? I like Yankiel's body work. He has more crack than his power shows. I know everybody loves fading the former amateur Olympian with the gritty veteran. But the difference is this is not a gritty veteran. This is a chinny veteran that's been hurt, dropped, and rocked multiple times, straight up quit in the last time that we saw him out, has been out of the ring for over a year and a half. Yanquiel Rivera has more pop than, again, his record gives him credit for.
Output.
He punches the body. You're telling me he doesn't want to look better than he did in his last fight, where no one ever talks about this? How much pressure did he have on his shoulders being the first main event that he ever had against a fighter that is impossible to look good against?
True.
You could not look good against someone that's head clashing you, trying to judo toss you,
elbow,
trying to punch you in the back of the head. It's literally impossible.
Rabbit punches.
All of these things lead me to Yanquiel breaking him down to the body and stumping Bomba to the body. Because, again, guys, I implore you, before we look at box rec, and I know Yanquiel's never fought a southpaw, so that's another interesting thing to know. According to box rec, he's never fought a southpaw. But please go and watch these knockouts by Bomba Gonzalez. 2 of them are by southpaws, and he can't see the right hand. He just cannot see the lead right hand. The lead right hand is causing him issues in all of these fights. Like, it's crazy. As compared to sometimes the open stand, compared to sometimes with the stances, right? You have issues to where they'll kind of collide. The jabs will collide. In this case, he just runs into them. So I'm probably standing a little bit too strongly on this, and I'll be very disappointed when Yanquiel slows down and fucking doesn't get the finish. But, man, I like Yanquiel to get the stoppage. I like the body work. Maybe watch it live, because I think it does probably happen a little bit later after the gas tank is dented in a little bit. Again, 34 years old, year and a half off the ring, moving up a weight class again. These are all signs of things that I don't like, man. And quite frankly,
his trajectory,
I think a Yanquiel Rivera Holly Holm parlay is chalk is as safe as it gets. So
you know what?
Without even getting sexy, it's like as safe as it gets. If you get a good return at Holly Holm and Yanquiel Rivera just parlayed together, bro, that's fine.
It's one of the things that you have to look at is how the fighter is trending. When we're thinking about Bomba, he's the 34-year-old version of him. It's not like he's on a run. He's not on like a Renaissance sort of Anthony Kakachi or a jet, like
Jazza Dickens, or like Kona Walker.
That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about a guy who's kind of reaching, moving up another weight class again, going back up. You know what? I didn't see these props until right now. I'm loving 250. $1 plus 150 Yankee by knockout. Interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah, this is like the thing, man. Like,
I like it.
Yeah, my phone's become like a tape library, bro. All because I don't think it will get you copyright. Some of this stuff is like hand recorded tape. Like,
do you want to play it?
Yeah, like I'll show you. Like, I'm pulling it up on my phone right now. Like,
yeah, you can play it from there.
All right. So,
what tape is this? No, that's actually come pretty clear. Actually,
this is Bomba. This is Bomba versus Jober Alvarez.
Okay, what I'm going to do then, brother, press pause. This is a cool little... I'm going to pull on the big screen. It's Bomba versus Joel Alvarez? Yeah.
It's not Joel. It's Joe Burt, I believe.
Joe Burt
Alvarez.
Well, how'd you get that tape? That's from... All right, here we go. I'm going to just pull the bout up and so they can see the scorecards and all that good stuff. And then you can play it. It'll be... All right, here we go. So, 47... Was that a draw?
Oh, bro, this was a knockout. This is the southpaw. This is the issues I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, so Bomba is in the blue, white and blue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's no head movement, not moving back.
Look at the. I want everyone.
He almost looks frozen.
Everyone to pay attention to the lead hand of Jobert here.
Red and black.
Can't see it, bro. Can't see it.
Yeah, Southie. Ooh, and then walks right into that backhand.
Here it comes. Now he's frozen.
He looks frozen here. Okay.
All right.
And yep.
Now I got.
Did you see this? Up until that moment, it was 47-47 on all the judges' scorecards.
Oh, it was a close one.
Wow.
Dude, I'm watching. This is what people don't understand. When you dive into tape, you're watching tape from like people's like phones on the corner of the boxing ring and shit like that. Like,
but that's all you need. All you need when you're looking at like tails and you're looking at lead hands, you're looking at habits. That's what you really want to look for. Same fight?
No, this is Tanaka now. Look at this man just getting absolutely just melted to the body.
This was the body work for the WBA world title here too. And he was up on the cards, dude. They had Bomba up.
Bro, this is what I'm saying. He's legitimately just he's giving in. There's one last piece I want to find.
He was up 58-54, 57-55, and one judge had a 56-56. And in the Joelberg fight, 47s across the board. So psychologically, that tells you something about Bomba.
That's what I brought up, that he's a quitter.
Yeah,
right.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was.
Last thing. I'm sorry.
What fight?
This is dude. This is Giovanni Segura in Mexico.
Okay, give me a second. Where are you finding all this? Is this on YouTube?
Whether it's Daily Motion, I search a lot of tape on Bing. Bing has a weird routing engine to where you can find tape that you won't always find on Google.
Okay, Segura. When did holy August 13th?
I know it was years ago. It was years ago.
Okay.
But the reason
he got dropped 3 times
him versus southpaws. That's what I was looking for. Trying to get an angle versus southpaws. Could you
play that one?
Dude. This fight was so fun, by the way.
Oh god, he got dropped 3 times in this fight.
Yeah, he got dropped. A hellacious. He took a hellacious amount of damage, dude. Absolutely.
You're making a very strong case for the Yankee by stoppage at plus 150.
Dude.
Bro
is just like a lead hand magnet, bro. And this is against Gino that has 0, like literally just winging it. Yeah. Now let me show you one quick counter.
No setups.
None.
Go on.
Now I want to show you one thing real quick with Yankel Rivera. Now I understand different stances. This will be. I'm sorry. I know I'm getting too deep into tape. I'm nerding out a little bit too much.
Oh, bro, this is what we do, man. This is why you're here.
Let me make sure that I have the right one. Boom, bro. So old boy has issues with against the southpaw lead right hand. Sloppy ass, long sweeping lead right hand issues, right? Let's do a little bit of quick boxing math. Bomba has issues with the long southpaw sweeping lead right hand.
Yep.
Look at that, Yankel Rivera. Long, crisp, no load up, perfect. Sweeping right, no fat.
Yep. So what do you make? What do you make of
right hand?
Boxing Booth? Boxing Booth got some pushback on you.
I don't think Rivera lacks as much power as people think. The Andy Dominguez fight, he hurt him in the 4th round, but he didn't go through any gears. He hurt him to the body too, which is important for me. I know Gonzalez wasn't a very high-level fighter that he stopped, but he was cracking the shit out of Gonzalez before he eventually stopped him to the body too as well. And one thing to counteract the power, you have someone like Bomba, who's already a quitter, who's been fit. Let's do the math. All 3 of his losses, not considering the no contest versus Squaga, he's lost by stoppage.
Yeah.
All 3 of his losses.
Statistically speaking, we see the route. We see the path to victory.
Up a weight class after being off a year and a half at 34 years old.
Yeah, with miles on him.
All of the math is math, and to me, and someone like Yankel Rivera, where his best work comes into is the body work.
Yeah, I like it. I like it, Nick. I like it.
Well, just
you
so
sold
you guys,
me on it.
So that's like the biggest thing is like, I hope you guys know I'm not coming out of my ass like just
no, dude, bro. I wouldn't. It's not like we bring anybody on at this stage of the game. You know,
Boxing Booth, nothing but respect, by the way, brother.
Oh yeah, dude, Boxing Booth, another OG of the game. So, Nick, we're about 90 minutes in, guys. We got fights in about 48 hours. Anything we didn't cover? You want to leave us with anything? I'm about to wrap this up.
Nah. Go check out my previews and breakdowns on YouTube. Yeah, I mean, if you're ever looking to support, I have Patreon where you can always request fight tapes and breakdowns individually, whether that's MMA or combat. But if not, I appreciate just even a like, share, and a subscribe. Appreciate you bringing me on, Johnny. I promise you I wasn't drunk on the last video. Someone said I was drunk, which was the comment was hilarious. I know Critchy didn't mean any like that's the dog anyways. I know he meant like he just meant it like as a joke. But I promise I wasn't. I was a little stoned. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's all good, brother. That's the shit. The weed be letting you know evil lurks. So we got next Thursday, guys. Nick and I are gonna start our weekly MMA live stream. We're gonna be live for both of our channels. So if you're following him, give me a follow. If you're not following him, go to Breaking Bad Boxing. Follow Nick. Always a pleasure, my guy. I'll talk to you soon.
Later, brother. Have a great day. Peace out, y'all. Chat.
Be good. All right, gentlemen. We've been on live for an hour and 40 minutes. I got about 20% left on my device here. I'll leave it on. Anything we missed, any fights you have questions with, anything you want to ask me, I'll leave the stage open for you guys. I'll be going live tomorrow. I'll be going live Sunday for the fights. We are in it. It's January 2nd, 2026. We're going to continue what we do here, break down boxing, win, find victories, build a community. Other than that, Big Shadow, we appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.